Hey, Dawns ARKS! Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on January 30th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me here today are Rooks and Xantz. Go ahead and say hello.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good. Well, other than my voice, but that can't be helped today.
Ugh.
Yeah, sorry to hear you're feeling like that. Hopefully you'll be okay here. Anyway, we've got the headline coming up here in just a few minutes. I'm at least expecting a couple of interesting things here. We already know that we're going to Kavaris. That's pretty much a guarantee at this point with this month's update. And then, you know, the roadmap itself also indicated a good number of things. We're probably going to see half of those next month and then half of them this month, so I would say probably at least we're going to get the next story chapter. And then maybe also one of those limited time quests, but we'll have to see on that. There's a good chance we're also going to be seeing an updated mining rig with this, either this month or next month. Since that's kind of been the pattern that Sega has followed ever since the Starless kind of came around here.
Makes me wonder why they think that's such a good idea. They should know that most players just abandon that quest after a while and try to go elsewhere.
I personally like the mining defense missions. I find them fun.
They're okay. What I'll say is the only reason you want to run it 50 times is if you want that Master Cube, but that's about it. And then, of course, there was the whole thing with the Flugelguard series, which, you know, released early for whatever reason that happened.
And I still have yet to get one myself.
It's actually come down in price pretty far on the market, so you might be able to just buy one now.
Probably.
There was also the whole thing with all the Verschmelz series that they put out, which was kind of interesting that they did that. Because of that, I was able to get my my Ver's sword up to a fix of 4 on that.
Nice.
You just had to have been diligent about getting all the A and B type turn-ins, basically, and with that, you were basically given like, what was it, like 10 of each weapon type, I think. So, yeah, I haven't done the calculation yet to see which one is better, but my Flugelguard still doesn't have a fix on it. So, yeah, I gotta see what the math on that turns out like.
Well, the stream went live, but we're not seeing anything.
Usually it takes a minute or two for that to get started here.
Mm-hmm.
It's still plus it's still like 1 minute before the show is supposed to actually start for them.
Yeah, they start at the top of the hour.
Yep. Let's see. Aside from New Genesis, when we look at Clementine, they actually did put out a roadmap for that, so we'll be talking about that later today. Also, GameCube PSO, there's actually an item loss prevention patch now available to players as long as it's installed on the server.
Which is kind of funny how it's like it took fans to have that. That is something that Sega couldn't do officially.
Well, they could have at any time. It's just they chose not to do that, and it was largely due to preventing duping back in the day, I believe. In fact, I still got one of the original 1.0 discs that made item duping extremely easy. 1.0 JP, that is. Where they basically had a mail-in campaign whereby you gave them your 1.0 disc, they would send you a 1.1 disc, and then 1.0 and 1.1 players were separated on different servers.
I'm actually curious if the JP copy that I have is a 1.0 disc.
We could
I
check
should probably
it out.
check.
Yeah. Alright, so they should be going at any second here now. Here we go.
Welcome back, everybody, to NGS Headline.
Hello, everyone. It's 9 p.m., so let's get started with NGS Headline. I'm Hiro Arai, the official navigator of NGS, and I will be the MC for this program. I will be bringing you the latest info on NGS. Welcome to the first broadcast of 2024. I hope you all enjoy NGS this year, too. Today marks the end of the Super Genesis Festival, which started late last year. How was it? As we announced in our last broadcast, if the Super Genesis Festival is well received, we would like to make it an annual half-anniversary event. So we would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about it. Now, once again, this program is to inform players about the current operation and upcoming updates of Sega's online RPG, PSO2 New Genesis, also known as NGS. We will also share details about exciting campaigns, peripheral information, and discuss the present and future of NGS for our players. This is a pre-recorded broadcast. If you would like to watch it in Japanese, you can check it out on the Japanese NGS YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's move on to the updates you've all been waiting for.
NGS Hot Information.
They usually start with a video for these here.
Now,
Yep.
for this broadcast of 2024, I would like to share some info about the January 31st and February updates. Let's start with a video.
Yep, that's Kavera's music.
Yeah.
Belugano Ruins, if I remember correctly.
Final
Okay.
part of chapter 6.
Yeah.
Yep, you were right. You were right.
Yep. Oh.
Riku, we're Instructor Ina's new trainees. This here is Ruka.
Okay, new characters.
And it's an honor to learn from Instructor Ina, too.
We're all going to return soon for some scout training in a little while. It'll be a long trip. Hopefully we can all get on the same page before we head out. I hope I come up with something by then.
At least it's Ina focused instead of Manon focused.
Yeah, Manon did not show up at all there.
Probably because Sega's now realizing that man is not that likable or something.
Oh, they're updating the Ragewort Gorge.
Okay, this is a good change. This is needed because they needed some way to make that Ragewort Gorge easily accessible for other players.
Yep. Ancient enemies level up. Is there going to be a change in the rewards? Oh, look at the sky there.
No, that actually happens every time one of those things appear.
Huh. Guess I haven't noticed it before. So, new rank just to Belagana, so that's probably going to mean 30,000 kills for the title.
Oh, look, a recoiled weapon.
Nice.
Nine-star armor.
Wait, they're restoring the red containers?
Wait, restoring the red containers. Also, Gunner update!
Yep.
Yeah!
And I'm sure you'll be able to hit it once you complete story. If not during the story.
Notice they have to. The only way they make that work is by having that enemy downed.
Yep. Okay, so new creative space, and this is why I said we should have held off for as long as we did for our Alliance Time for War.
Yeah, because the Kavaris theme, honestly, is better.
Oh, that'll be nice, getting more exact placements. Why would you give us mining rig parts?
Oh, that... Finally!
party.
Auto-join! Finally! Oh my god. Took long enough.
Yep. More GPS options.
We don't care about the quintuplets, quit shoving them in our face.
Yep. Interesting new cast parts.
I just like new cast parts. Because we rarely get them.
Yeah, it's like once a month for cast parts.
I could have sworn it was longer than that.
You might be right. Dustovera Suppression Operation version 2.
So, recycling a quest again.
Yep. Because of course.
Yeah, so where's Renis Vera 2? They're bringing in the Gotham, or Gothic-themed build parts from PSO2. Why would you chew on the keychain or something? Or
That
ear
was
chain?
that was a lip piercing with a chain leading to the ear.
They really brought that thing in?
Yep.
Don't they know those things are just gonna explode?
Don't know, maybe because they're photon powered they won't.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Also, didn't that fad die like 2 years ago?
Yeah, that's
What did you
kind of
think?
interesting timing on this.
Let me go
Yeah.
through the details with these slides. Starting with this. The final part of Chapter 6 of the main story will be available from January 31st. Aina continues to work hard as a training instructor for new arcs, but as the days go by, she seems to still be struggling with her worries. At some point, the protagonist meets the rookie arcs Rikul and Ruka. From what they tell you about their training with Aina, it seems that she is having a hard time teaching others, and it seems that she will soon be taking her new recruits on a long-distance reconnaissance training exercise. Will Aina be able to successfully train them up?
Long distance in, what, a 5x5 kilometer world?
Chapter 6 finally comes to an end. Be
Right,
sure
so
to
not
check out
joking
where
about
the
that.
story is going.
We've worked on trying to measure it.
Following Retum, all fields in Kavaris will be significantly updated. First, in the Rayord Gorge, the level of ancient enemies will
Won't be that
increase.
updated. It'll be
and
better,
even
but it won't.
Recon Gigants,
As true
Gigantics
significant
will
update
appear.
would actually increase the size of the field.
In addition,
Yeah.
new Starless
Yep.
Dread enemies will replace some of the boss enemies. And
Can
the
only
new
hope
Grand
for
Torch
that for the
stands
new
and
area
torch
that's coming
stands will be
in
placed throughout the
in
field.
June.
Supposedly, it's been
The
confirmed
Grand Torch
as being
stand
just a
grants
combat
players
sector.
Who come within a certain range the heat coating effect for a set period of time.
Well then, let's hope that there's
This
some
effect provides
randomness to the
immunity
area
to
then.
low temperature damage and triggers a follow-up fire attribute effect for attacks. The smaller torch stand extends the duration of the heat coating for a certain amount of time when accessed by a player who already has a heat coating. By strategically utilizing both the Grand Torch stands and torch stands, you can connect the fires like a chain and challenge the formidable enemies roaming the Rayord Gorge while maintaining the heat coating effect as long as possible.
They're using
A new
heat
rank will be
photons to
added
fend
the
off the ice
Belladonna Ruins
photons.
combat sector.
Ban photons, yeah.
In addition to an increase in the enemy levels, a new starless enemy will also appear. Several dash rings have been added to Belladonna Ruins that can be used while on a floating board to make movement smoother. So be sure to slide through Belladonna Ruins. In conjunction with the Kavaris update, a new series of 10-star rarity weapons, the Rayar series, and the first 9-star rarity armor, Ania armor, will also be available. The Rayar series has a potential.
Oh,
which
so
increases
basically the
power of
Flugel
photon
isn't going to
arcs
be
and techniques
like the
in
most sought
exchange
after
for increased
series
TP
now.
cost, and can be obtained in exchange for materials, or may be dropped from enemies. In addition, in the new ranks at the Belladonna Ruins, enemies other than bosses will also drop the 10-star rarity weapons and 9-star rarity armor. So make effective use of PSE bursts to destroy as many enemies as possible. The level of Gigantics enemies
Grind,
that appear
grind,
in the
grind.
exploration sector
Yep.
section of Kavaris,
Guess we can't give you
with the
anything that's
exception
actually
of
more
Rayord
compelling.
Gorge, will
Yep.
also be increased, and additional red item containers will be placed. There are exchange materials for the Rayar series in the containers, so scour Kavaris for them. The Rayar series
Like, can't
will
have
be
a
added to
fun
the
challenging,
NPC Resso's item exchange
solo
in
or group
Kavaris.
boss fight that just
In
drops
addition,
items that if
the
you get a
Rayar
certain amount of
series
them,
and
oh,
the
you can trade in
multi-weapon
for a
Rayar
weapon.
Mark I
It's
series
like how
will
it
be
is
added to the Arcs
in
record
current
badge
base
exchange.
PSO2. It's like,
Please
I
note
kind of like
the
that. I kind of
Kaizar
like
series
having like a
and
challenging
Kaizar
fight to
Mark I
do.
series will be removed from the item exchange.
Like
Kavaris,
the
and the Arcs record badge exchange in a future release in order to
like the
reorganize
solo
item
ultimate
exchange menu.
quests, those ones. The items that drop from it, you were able to then trade in for the
Limited time
15-star
tags and title tags
weapons.
will be added in conjunction
Yep.
with the Kavaris update.
They were saying something
The
about
achievement requirements
the
for all
Arcs
of
record
these
badges
are to
there, but I
defeat
couldn't
the
hear it
enemies.
unfortunately.
So be aggressive in
They're
taking
taking
them
out
to earn
some, the
rewards,
Kaiser
like the
stuff
materials
in
needed
from
to
the Arcs
exchange
record
for the Rayar
badges.
series.
Okay. Yeah, that
Also,
kind of makes sense at this
The
point.
Tame's trapping trials from Retum will now occur in Kavaris and Aelia. 9-star rarity armor and meat have been added as reward items, so capture the most tames within the time limit to get tons of gathering materials and other items for each region. Furthermore, the additional enemies that used to appear around Dread enemies will no longer appear in the Kavaris and Aleo exploration sectors.
Okay.
We want to place the focus on boss enemies to make it easier to fight them. So go challenge these formidable foes. In preparation
That was
for
a
the
stupid thing
intense
to
battle of
focus on.
Kavaris, the player level
Yeah,
cap will be
what,
raised
that
to
makes it
85.
seem a little bit more, what, Monster Hunter-ish, I guess?
In addition,
Ye-
rangers and
Well,
gunners will receive
I mean, the
adjustments
enemies you
to
can wipe
attack
out it
range,
very
motion
quickly
speed,
anyway,
and
so the
cancel time,
entourage is
as
pointless.
well as
Dealing
additional
with the entourage is
behavior and
pointless.
balance adjustments,
Yeah.
such as increased charge phases for certain photon arts, new class skills, and significantly
Also, being more Monster Hunter-like is kind of funny because Monster Hunter,
coincide
Monster Hunter
with
was
this,
inspired by
an
PSO.
Arch-Records event exclusive to rangers and gunners will be held for training.
And technically, they have
Open
done a
World
collaboration
Rank 2.
between the two games before.
Time to lock and load.
With Frontiers, yes.
Furthermore,
Only in Japan, though.
new ranks will be added to the
Yep.
Urgent Quest's mining rig defense Kavaris.
Frontiers is
and
fun though if you
remnants of
know
ambition.
how to play it.
New title tasks will also be added that can be achieved by clearing the urgent quests at the new ranks.
It'll be
See if
interesting
you
to
can
see
get
how
them
many
all.
Master Cubes they give out. Now, this is the first
Along with
region
these changes,
where
the
we're getting
Crocodilus
one of
Vera
these
suppression op
updates
and
like
Alms
this,
Vera
and Master
suppression
Cubes
op
have been
will
available.
no longer occur as urgent quests. From here on out, when you want to play these quests, please accept them as trigger quests from the quest counter. In addition, players from any class can participate in the ARKS records for the field race, West Kavaris Dash, Stage 1. Pick your favorite class and challenge yourself to this race. Creative Space is getting a new theme, Kavaris. We invite you to create a space with a unique atmosphere based around snowy mountains with amazing views. Plus, features will be added that make Creative Space and Alliance Space easier to play. The ability to make fine adjustments to the position and angle of placed build parts will make it easier to arrange them as desired. Additionally, a feature will be added to adjust the size of changes in terrain height, allowing for the creation of gentle slopes. Moreover, you will be able to visit the creative space of players you select from your friend list or from nearby characters, giving you another way to access creative space. The mining rig pack is now available in the AC shop, allowing you to assemble your own mining rig. The build parts, which are divided into 14 pieces, can be assembled like a puzzle to create the final product. The pack includes a poster of the complete mining rig as a visual guide during assembly.
So you
Be
need to
sure
buy
refer to it
14
while putting
AC
the rig
items
together.
to put together an entire rig.
You can earn Genesis
Hilarious.
points as a
From
reward
what I
for
understand, it's
completing
usually a
limited-time
full
tasks
pack
for
containing
creative
everything.
space.
Okay, yeah, they do
Use
say
the
that
points
parts
you
pack.
obtain
Yeah,
to further
Okay.
build out your creative space.
Still hilarious.
yeah. What's the actual
Next,
cost on it gonna
Let me
be?
introduce the newly added auto join party feature. By utilizing this feature, players who have enabled the setting will automatically join together to form parties under specific conditions, such as before starting a multi-party quest, when in combat sectors during a trial, or at the beginning of a PSE burst. You can access the settings from the party settings screen, and there is also a feature to turn it on using shortcut keys. In addition, you can hide shortcut keys and keep the auto join party feature enabled at all times from the options settings. This makes it really easy to form parties, so give it a try and make some new friends. In addition to the auto join party feature, a variety of other features will be added and improved. First, in Battle Dia Yellow and Battle Dia Purple, idle time for quests will be reduced in accordance with the loading status of each participant's quest, allowing for smoother play. Second,
It's nice to see that they're
in
doing
the
that
options
instead of the set
settings,
times
you
at
can
this
now
point.
select the DPS display position from 3 different options. If you find that the DPS display is difficult to read, try changing its position to make it easier to see. Similarly, in the options settings, you will now be able to customize the display settings of portable holograms placed by other players according to sector. If you want to enjoy portable holograms only in the city and not during combat, you can change the settings to hide in combat sectors or hide in combat exploration sectors. That way, you can enjoy both battles and communication. In addition, Easy Photo Mode will have a new feature where it remembers the previous camera angle and settings.
Oh, that one at the bottom.
These
It
settings will
begins.
be remembered until you exit the game, allowing you to
They're
quickly
they're
resume
trying to
Easy Photo
distance
Mode if
themselves
you
from the
accidentally
early
close
part
it.
of the episode.
This feature is
Yep.
also convenient when you want to pause a photo
It's starting to
shoot
realize
and head
that
to an
they have
urgent
a
quest.
trash fire of a
Be sure
story.
to give it a try.
Yep.
3 new options will be added to save items for
And
looks.
then we'll see how long it takes before they just simply
Selecting
say
yes to
everybody
apply
starts
changes
episode
from
2
Saved
whenever that
Ensemble
launches.
will now also save adjust
Yep.
eye size, adjust eye horizontal position.
It's almost like they
motion-based
should have
type
gone
in the same way
the
that current options
based
are
route
saved.
and that the story is
Please note
optional.
that simply selecting yes to apply changes from saved ensemble will not
But
reflect the newly
the
saved
story's someone's
options in
baby.
looks saved
They have
before
to
this
make the
update.
subject the players to it.
Also, the ARKS ID backdrops that you can unlock by collecting title points will now include backdrops with the Kavaris leader.
I'm being
on
snarky,
top of
but
this.
the fact is I honestly think
Moreover,
someone
when selecting
was a little
Gold
too
Prim
obsessed
Sword
with the
2
story and has
Gold
been
Prim
pushing it a
Armor
little
2
too
as
hard.
enhancement
Yeah,
materials,
a bit.
the confirmation screen will be skipped, removing an extra step when enhancing your equipment. In addition, after completing the prologue, gameplay tips will be displayed on screen for a set time. This is one of the steps we've taken to make the game more user-friendly for new players of NGS and for returning players. We hope these tips will make it easier to get into the game. Furthermore, new players who want to jump right into the game now have the option to skip the prologue, even if they are playing through with their first character. If you get curious about the story in the prologue later on, you can check it out from the quest counter. If you want to play casually and just see what the game has to offer, feel free to skip ahead. Next up, I
Oh,
have
so they
some
can leave the
info on
game even
balance adjustments for
sooner
preset
now.
Skills.
Yeah.
We'll be making preset skills stronger, as well as making it
I'm sorry,
easier
some of the
to fix
design
preset
decisions
skills
here
to weapons
is
and
incredibly
armor.
bad.
Following an overall parameter review, we will strengthen all preset skills aside from a select few. As we make preset skills stronger, we'll also be reducing the power of potentials to make sure that the 9-star rarity Versmelt's weapon series doesn't
Translation
end up
trying to
being
force people
overpowered.
to be that much more
However,
desperate for the
For
preset
those
skills.
of you
Nice
with the
job.
preset
These were
skills
supposed to be optional and
determined at level
not
1
matter.
or greater affixed. Don't worry, we'll also be making adjustments to keep it at the same strength as before. In addition, preset skills previously awarded only through item drops will now also be granted via enhanced preset skills.
Well, that didn't last long.
Here's the thing.
And
It's
the
like we
new
need to make sure
support
that the
items
preset
add
skills are
preset
actually
skills level
useful
1 is
so
on
that
the way.
people grind more. So they're playing the game more.
This item can be used to add a
No,
random
they're just
level
going to
1
abandon the
preset
game
skill
more.
to a weapon or armor
Yep.
with no preset skill affixed.
And the more they dig this hole, the more it affects
There will
the
also
rest of
be
the
new
series as a
exchange
whole.
items at item recycle. End rare drop rate 1 hour plus 100%, and add preset skills level 1. You can trade NEX cubes for these. Please note that there is a weekly limit to the number you can exchange for. Farm for some NEX cubes, boost your item drop rates, and affix preset skills to your weapons and armor. From January 31st, character creation data that can be used to recreate NGS's main characters will be available on the characters page of the PSO2 New Genesis official site. Please note that this character creation data can only be used with the Steam, MS Store, and Epic Games versions of the game. In conjunction with this
Is there
data,
anyone who's actually playing
we're
this off of
releasing the
Epic Games?
Revival SG Scratch Ticket
I doubt it,
NPC
but there
item
will be
collection,
people who make the argument
available
just so they could try to
You can use
say the
main
Steam
character's
chart
outfits,
numbers don't matter.
accessories, and more included in the lineup of this Scratch Ticket to recreate your favorite characters.
Yeah, and I mean, how many are left using the MS Store
Continuing,
version at this point?
We have the new
After
AC
that
Scratch
garbage
Ticket,
fire.
Street Smart,
Yeah.
featuring chic sci-fi streetwear and new cast parts. Check out the Scratch Count bonus for alternate versions of the Vertical Float EX Dash and idle motion change items included in the Scratch Ticket prizes. The limited time quest Dustil Vera Suppression Op V2 launches on February 7th. In this remake of the Urgent Quest, you'll take on Dustil Vera in the Maraba Canyon of North Retum. The Dustil Vera that awaits you after defeating the Dolls and Starless is now a Gigantix with a pumped-up attack power. So make sure to avoid its attacks as you fight. New limited-time tasks and title tasks will also be added that can be accomplished by completing this quest.
It's probably still gonna rock out,
Finish
though.
this quest to obtain special scratch tickets and titles. Hoping for new build parts? You're in luck. Beloved PSO2 furnishings with a medieval fantasy theme are inbound as build parts. Plus, we'll be adding color variations of Gothic and fancy-themed furniture. And be sure to check out the Buy Build Parts menu, since new combinations are now possible. In addition, we will be holding ARKS records for solo and all classes in the Trainia Crazy Tail Rank 2. Challenge the boss enemy in a one-on-one battle with your favorite class. Slay the stage with plaid idol-style wear and Gothic Lolita threads with the new AC Scratch Ticket Starlight Fashion. The Scratch Count bonus features alternative versions of the Glide and Dash Gyro Runner EX motion change items included in the Scratch Ticket prizes. That's all for the updates coming on January 31st and in the first half of February. Now
Alright,
let
on
me
to
show you
part
the
2.
updates for the second half of
Alrighty.
February. Let's start with this video.
I'm hearing Aegis music. Which is, yeah, this was not unexpected.
Yeah. I like this fight though, so.
I haven't even touched it because there's absolutely no story relevance to it.
Yep.
It's a fun fight. Limited time, don't miss out. Gotta get people into the game.
Oh, those wings were from.
Oh yeah, and the mission pass that I keep on completely forgetting about.
Okay, I gotta do this.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm. Okay, it's the same group that that did things last time. What is it? It's the VTubers, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Nitsi Sanji.
Yeah, I never really watched their stuff, even after they showed up. So I really don't have any vested interest in them at all.
I have a small interest in the VTuber scene, but not too big into it. I just see clips, random clips of it.
Are these all the same ones from last time? I think they are.
I don't think so. I'm not seeing tentacles here.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. They had that one last time, didn't they? But yeah, so far it's just Aegis and the new mission pass, and then this for this update. And actually, that's it for that update. All right, let's see if this is clear. Crimson Realm?
Okay, are we going to get a story explanation for this, or is this going to be just nonsense that they just bring in?
Rewards upgraded based on the damage you deal. Really? More cast parts, huh?
Awesome. Maybe they're actually listening to the criticism how they don't have enough cast parts.
Yeah, that actually might be a new tale for my cast. Okay. Plateau clean up Operation 24.
Yes, Calm. They're saying that the Steam logs numbers aren't relevant. That they're trying to live. Well, they're trying to pretend that the game isn't dying.
Is there going to be a Pettis at the end of this? Yep, there it is.
And we have Dolls and Starless working right beside each other.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like they're the same enemy, just reskinned.
Let me walk you through the updates with some slides.
Yep.
The new urgent quest, Halfia Lake Counterattack Part 2, will be available for a limited time starting February 14th. This is an urgent
one could make the argument
version
that
of the high difficulty
Starless are the
standing
fourth
quest,
generation
Halfia
that
Lake Interception
Zafetta was
Part
talking
2.
about, but there's no evidence to
Take
back
on
it
Dark
up, so I can't
Falls
really
Aegis.
put that into something like
Up to 8 players
a secrets
can join
video.
this version of the quest. And we've lightened up on the failure conditions, enemy HP, and enemy attack power to make it a bit easier to play. It's here for a limited time only, so grab a clearance box of chocolates and have yourself a fabulous Valentine's Day. Mission Pass NGS Season 29 is just around the corner. In addition to stamps and accessories, valuable items like personal shop use 3 days and SG scratch ticket prize slips will carry over in the lineup. Notable rewards include an accessory item based on a unit themed after popular PSO2 boss enemy, Ball Dragon, color variations of the motion change item, Glide Jetpack, and more. So don't miss this chance to snap them up. We're also holding another ARKS records for Rangers and Gunners. This time, it will be for the Trainia Dyna Assault Rank 2. Test your mettle against the boss enemy. Moreover, we've got an ARKS records for the field race, Central Kavaris Stage 1, that you can take on no matter your class. Try it as many times as you like during this period. Starting after scheduled maintenance on February 14th, we'll be holding a collab featuring 4 Niji Sanji virtual livers, Amamiya Kokoro, Nagao Kei, Matsukai Mao, and Yorumi Rena. Log in during the collab period to get login bonuses, including stickers of the collab virtual livers signatures, build parts with collab visuals, and more. Plus, the region mags will transform into Niji Sanji themed design. Next, let me introduce the new AC Scratch Ticket, Virtual Liver Style 2024. In addition to avatar items that let you dress up as Amamiya Kokoro, Nagao Kei, Matsukai Mao, and Yorumi Rena, it will have combat voices recorded by the virtual livers and weapon camo based on their outfits. This scratch ticket is also packed with other collab items like ARKS ID backgrounds and vital gauges designed after each virtual liver, body pillow weapon camo, and portable holograms and build parts depicting life-sized panels. On February 21st, a new rank will be added to the Lost Central Combat Sector in Kavaris. Enemy levels will be increased, and of course starless enemies, including a mysterious starless boss enemy, will make their appearance. Similar to Belagana Ruins, 10-star weapons and 9-star armor will drop from non-boss enemies. Plus, for a limited time,
I wonder if that new armor is going to replace my Ajax finally.
The Crimson Realm will occur daily.
Probably.
And switch between Belagana Ruins and Lost Central. In sectors that transform into the Crimson Realm, along with menacing red-colored weather, special trials with even more powerful starless enemies and rewards will occur. Take on combat sectors with an even more dangerous atmosphere than usual.
So is this going to be in addition
trial,
to
where
the
new
storms?
starless boss enemy, Driverus, appears, rewards will be upgraded based on the damage dealt. Driverus has the ARKS at its mercy with its swift movements, but these can be quelled by destroying lock-on parts. You'll need to join up with other players to defeat this enemy. And that's not all. When completing a trial in the Crimson Realm, there is a chance that a changeover will occur, which will then develop into an additional trial. Completing the side mission for the trial from the changeover and the next PSE burst that activates guarantees either a PSE burst forte or PSA burst encore. Don't miss this chance to score tons of rewards. Also, limited time tasks and title tasks will be added for enemies in Lost Central. Completion conditions include defeating enemies, so don't hold back and take down as many as you can. The ARKS records held during this time are for the Trainia slope style, for solo, and all classes. Use your floating board skills and shred this challenge. Next is the new AC scratch ticket, Basilisk Beauty. Dragon-themed outfits and cast parts with dinosaur motifs will come roaring in. Keep your eyes out for the scratch count bonus prize lineup, which includes alternate versions of motion change items, like the glide and idle variations.
I am very
of
tempted
Fit
by
EX.
those legs for the Type
The
1
limited time
cast.
quest, Plateau Cleanup Op 2024, will come sweeping in on February 28th. In this quest for up to 12 participants, you'll need to protect a transport truck from hordes of enemies and complete your objective by defeating the boss enemy, Pedis Vera. Utilize Hindrus lilies placed in the field and defend the transport truck from powerful enemies. Limited time tasks and title tasks will also be added for this quest. Complete limited time tasks to get your hands on special scratch tickets and reward box medal February 2024. So take on the limited time quest and aim to collect all the rewards. During this time, we'll also be holding ARKS records for the field race, South Kavaris Dash Stage 1 Solo. Challenge yourself to achieve a new record while you can. 2 scratch tickets will be released on February 28th. NGS Makeup Revival is a Revival AC scratch ticket, which includes past releases of NGS spec eyes, makeup patterns, eyebrows, eyelashes, and body paint. Rewind Collection February 2024 offers a selection of items centered around previously released NGS spec AC scratch ticket prizes from last February and March. Enjoy character creation with a plethora of
It's a shame
items.
it seems like they're done with bringing up all the old
That
PSO2
concludes the
stuff
update information
to
for today.
NGS spec.
Moving on to the next segment.
Well, I suspect that
NGS
they want to avoid reminding people of base PSO2 as much as possible.
For this
because
segment,
it's a
the
constant
NGS
reminder of how badly they
Hiro
failed
Arai
here.
select
Yeah.
questions and comments from players to bring to the development and live operation teams and bring you their answers. Here is the first one. I'm having trouble with the ability buff of the boss enemies in Lucille Exploration, which inflicts status ailments on players. Are there any plans to introduce augments that nullify status ailments? Here is their answer.
There already were. They're called wards.
Yep.
Currently, there are no plans to introduce augments that nullify status ailments. However, in most cases, if an enemy in Lucille Exploration has an ability buff to inflict status ailments, players can acquire an ability buff for reducing status ailment duration. By raising this ability buff to level 5, it can nearly nullify the effects. So that is what we recommend. That was their answer. Moving on to the next question. It seems like many players abandon quests. Are the live ops and development teams considering a way to address this issue?
Oh, hey,
They did
like,
years
in,
ago.
Here's their answer.
yeah.
They were going to start banning
Log data,
players that did it too often.
including instances of quest abandonment, is accessible to developers, and periodic investigations are conducted using this data. If the number of abandoned quests or reports is excessively high, penalties may be imposed. We appreciate everyone's cooperation in keeping NGS a fun place to play by practicing good manners and refraining from engaging in quest abandonment or idling, using profanities, or forcing your own rules on others. That was what they had to say. Let's move on to the next question. Many ability-related LC capsules drop. Are you considering adjusting the drop rate of other LC capsules? Here is their answer. We plan to increase opportunities to obtain LC capsules by having them drop in limited time quests in the future. Additionally, the drop rate for such cases will be adjusted based on the in-game situation. That was what they had to say. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to select and bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their answers with you. Please
Where's
share
that
your
letter from the
thoughts
developers,
and
though?
opinions about this program and the game using the hashtag NGS
Probably
Headline
after
on
this.
X and other sites. We would
Oh, it
like
would
to
be
take this
interesting if they
opportunity
backed off.
during the
Oh, there
NGS
we go.
Operation Report section to share with you a message from our development team.
Oh yeah, I think I'm a few seconds behind you two.
Now, allow me to read this letter from the developers to you. We would like to thank all ARKs for continuing to enjoy NGS. Moving forward,
Enjoy is
we
a
will
very
provide
strong
information
word.
on the intended
Yeah.
implementation of updates introduced in the broadcast and our plans for future improvements in the form of a letter from the developers. In this issue, we would like to provide additional
It
information
is most certainly
about the
a
new
word.
10-star Rayar weapon series. The Rayar series are new 10-star weapons that can be obtained through the item exchange by collecting the necessary materials. That means these weapons are easier to obtain compared to the other 10-star weapon series, Flugogard. However, they cannot be sold in the personal shop. The reason behind this policy is to make it easier for
interesting.
more people to experience the highest tier of weapons, the 10 stars. The material items required for exchange were designed to be easily obtainable during battles and while traveling around the Rayord Gorge, the starting point for the Kavaris region update. Breaking all the new red item containers in the Kavaris region will provide about half of the required materials, so going through all of the exploration sectors will make it easier to obtain.
So question, are the red boxes being renewed? Or
Apart from
are
the item
we
exchange,
old
the
players
Rayar
out of
series
luck?
can also be obtained as
Yeah,
drops
what does
in the
that do to
Kavaris
the
region
title count?
and other
Or the
upcoming
count that you
content.
need for the title.
While they cannot be sold in personal shops, they have a high drop rate for 10-star weapons, so be sure to collect the Rayar series. Next, we would like to discuss the design intent of the Crimson Realm, which will appear in Kavaris on February 21st. In the region updates since version 2, the addition of Mainen and Skylifters in Elio and Halvaldi Vera in Retum all made distinct changes to our adventures. In contrast, the new Crimson Realm in Kavaris is designed to change the combat sectors as a whole. It is structured to occur for a limited time, like the Rappy spots implemented at the end of the year, to give it an event-like feel.
So it's going away.
We hope
Yep.
you
He's
enjoy
never
the
learned
change in
anything.
gameplay experience
Nope.
as the
Limited
combat
time
sector
content.
where the Crimson Realm occurs
Limited
changes
time
daily.
content. More limited time content. Woo!
We would like to inform you of one matter that is currently under consideration regarding the policies for content coming in the future. When we announced our plans for the future Dual Quest releases late last year in the roadmap, we received many comments requesting that not only reduce the frequency of releases, but also consider changing the specifications. Based on player feedback, we plan to change the specifications starting with Phase 4, scheduled for release in March. First, even if the quest does not come with augments that have special effects, if you have general
Oh, maybe they are learning.
high-performance equipment, it should be enough to complete the quest. We would also like to make it a policy to make augment capsules with special effects easier to get, and to make them secondary to dual quest completion.
Or not.
More details will
No,
be
Yeah.
provided.
that sounds like
in the
you
next
still
broadcast.
need them for to get the S
That's all
rank.
for the letter from the developers. Thank you for playing NGS. That was their message. Moving on to the next segment.
NGS Satellite Information.
Now let's move on from updates and talk about some other NGS-related info. I'm sure it will get you even more hyped to play the game. Let's start with
Not
this.
really. Yeah, not really.
Nope.
We'll be starting a campaign in February. Once a month, special login gifts will begin on February 1st. Log in at least once during February to get material storage use 15 days and end color change pass ×5.
So
Going
is this
forward,
something they're doing
you will also
every
have the chance
month
to get
giving us
these
that,
items
or is it
by
going to
logging
change
in
each
once a
month?
month in March and
No
beyond.
idea.
So log into the game
Every
and
month,
take
yep.
advantage of these chances for free loot.
So every month you
Desperation.
get,
We're upgrading
yeah, every month you get
PSO2
half a
Day
month
for
of the
February.
material storage.
It's Ultra PSO2
Also,
Day,
Ultra
where
PSO2
you'll get
Day.
increased boost
Ooh.
rates and more valuable login gifts.
Oh yeah, because of 2. They've been doing this
Period is
original
also longer
PSO2.
than usual.
Yep,
So
that's
be
for
sure to
certain.
log in and enjoy
Yep.
the game. Moreover, we'll be launching pre-announced urgent quests from February 21st. For these pre-announced urgent quests, we're reducing enemy HP, and you can complete each urgent quest twice every time it occurs. This campaign will make it easier to
I guess we'll
collect
see the
and exchange
update to the
materials
mining rig
for the
defense
10-star
Kavaris in
rarity
March
Ray
then.
weapon series.
Yep.
So be sure to jump in and grab some swag. We've got great deals on AC in our AC sale. We're launching the ARKS Cash Super Sale Early Spring 2024 on February 7th. The sale is different in every store, and you can make purchases to get the bonus once in each store.
But this is
This
basically the
time,
same thing they
the
did towards
sale
the end of
will also
last year.
extend to the Razor
Yep.
Gold store. If you're interested, take a look at the shops to see what's on offer. We also have a limited time
And it's
sale
usually the only time I
30%
actually buy
discount
AC.
off the normal price
And
for
the same thing
1,000
again
AC
here.
and 10,000 AC DLC products released on Steam at the end of last year. Please note that only one purchase per Steam account is allowed for these products, so it's not available for those who have already purchased it before, including those who bought it last year.
Oh.
Please also note
Oh,
that
interesting.
this AC can be used with all versions of the game except the PlayStation 4 version.
Why
Don't
why
miss
not
out
just
on
leave
this
it always
chance if you haven't
available
purchased it
for
yet.
one time and that's it?
I don't know.
Next up, the results of the Creative Space contest. Thank you very much for all your submissions to the Creative Space contest. The Live Ops and Dev teams have looked over the entries and selected these 11 works as the winners. The entries were
Look,
full
almost
of
all of them are from the
individuality and
Japanese
charm.
side. Gee.
Yep.
Enjoy
You
them.
are US.
Some focused on a single, detailed architectural structure. Some created an entire town with a collective theme. And some offered fun minigames for visitors. The number of winning entries was limited, as they will be showcased worldwide and on all ships as official creative spaces. However, there were numerous outstanding entries beyond the winners. If you are interested, please explore the contest entries using the contest hashtag #CreativeSpaceContest on X to see some fantastic spaces. We will continue to update Creative Space so everyone can express their creativity even more freely. Collab Livers are streaming an NGS video to commemorate our collab with Niji Sanji. Here is the stream schedule. The 4 virtual livers, Amamiya Kokoro,
Blue
Lotus
Lotus,
Head,
yeah, the
Matsukai Mao,
the
and Yorumi Rena.
the Photon Arc canceling that you used to do in PSO2 doesn't exist in NGS. Instead, you just do the
Keep an
dash
eye
and
out
that's
for an
it.
announcement on
Yep.
our official X account. with
They wanted
all
to
the
avoid
details,
the
including
whole
page where you can watch the
nonsense
video.
with that because the movement
That's all for
arts
this
were
episode of
incredibly
NGS Headline.
difficult for for more casual players
Please
to
share
pull
your
off.
thoughts and feedback on this program and the game using the hashtag NGS Headline on X. Together, we can make NGS an even more fantastic game.
応援メッセージなどでも構いませんので、ハッシュタグ NGS ヘッドラインをつけて X で投稿してみてくださいね。
As a representative of the users, I will continue to work with the development team to make NGS a more enjoyable game for everyone, and I look forward to your continued support. The next episode of Headline will be on Tuesday, February 27th. We'll be focusing
February
mainly
27th,
on the
alrighty.
updates coming in March. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now then, Arks, I'll see you at the next NGS Headline.
Thanks for watching here on Tuesday night. I'll see you on next NGS Headline. Bye bye.
All right, so that's this headline here. Let's take it back to the main scene.
So basically, more of the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Clothes are not content. They never.
But limited time quests, limited time quests. Don't you just want to have limited time quests so that it forces people on? Otherwise, they miss out. FOMO.
No, I think I'll go back to Pal World.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of PAL World the last week over on my Discords.
Yep, and for me, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink comes out in 2 days. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on that.
Yeah. The only thing that we really learned that's going to be kind of interest is the end of Chapter 6 finally. My goodness, that thing lasted, what, almost a whole year.
I think with us, it technically is a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which... And it's gonna come down to the day that they release, but yeah, I'm now of like 90% confidence that the amount of time that they had left on that computer during Chapter 5, where it was giving a specific number of seconds, that actually counted down to the release date of when Chapter 7 starts.
We'll notice, yeah, Pal World has kind of the same multiplayer system that Minecraft has. So it's set up your own server and stuff.
Yep. Let's see. I don't see anything extra on the Japanese side of Headline, so we don't need to pull that up here. Any other comments before we move on?
Well,
I think I've already made my point clear. They have such a heavy focus on limited time content instead of trying to focus on stuff that can be permanent, so that people have stuff that they can actually grind out. And I don't want to save more of my thoughts on why I'm not liking NGS for like after we get through all the other updates.
at this point, well, yeah, let's get through the updates. This could take a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not that much time this time. I mean, it's actually kind of short what we got here today. Outside the headline, if I'm being honest.
Well, I'm just saying more. Our complaints could take a while.
Yeah, expirable content means expirable interest. Exactly. And also, what would I recommend to a returning player to NGS? Play PSO Blue Burst.
Yeah.
I would say try Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity with a translation patch. I would also say, seriously, just look at...
Blue Burst was the PC version of PSO.
The second PC version.
Yeah, the second PC version. Or PSU, yeah, exactly.
Or there's the classic series, back on Algol.
Yeah, there's the classic series.
At this point,
Also-
I think our recommendation is play anything other than New Genesis at this point, because this...
It's like New Genesis isn't terrible, it's just boring. And honestly, okay, now we're already at this point. I hate the loot system. I absolutely despise the loot system and how there's only one series to go after, and that is it. There's no uniqueness when it comes to the weapons, and I hate that so much.
Half of that is the player's problem, but it's also the fact that the developers don't want to even try to fix the system.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Like, think back in PSO, like what were some of the more sought after stuff for a force? Like even like just weapon units, armor. Like what was
Psycho
the sought
Wand
after
was
thing
one.
for a force? Psycho Wand, yeah, that's the biggest one.
The different cards for the section IDs was another, because those were like insanely rare drops.
B801.
Yep, that
Yeah.
made you cast faster.
Yep, V801. That's a really amazing unit. So it's like there were a lot of like special things that were very unique in that made it where you wanted to hunt specific monsters or do different quests because it dropped those items. So it gave it a spread of a variety of different content that you can do, so that you can hunt for, like, you can do stuff that is just playing the game and just get whatever you want, or if you want to hunt specific monsters, then you do specific quests for those. It gave variety. It gave a reason to actually keep playing the game because you wanted to make your character stronger. New Genesis doesn't have that. There's no reason to go to any of the other areas right now because they don't have the latest weapon series. There's no reason for it. There's no reason to do certain urgent quests because they don't have the latest weapon series.
Yep, and then what do you do once you get the latest urgent or latest weapon series? You're basically done at that point.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
at
yeah,
that
and,
point, there's no reason to continue.
And yeah, Super Robo Blast 2 Infinity. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic Robo Blast 2 Infinity. That is also, it's funny. It's a fun mod. I love it.
Yep.
They strayed away from the very thing that made them successful. Yes, pretty much. And
Yeah,
it saddened me. It really does.
Yeah. What happened to the weapon series where you would need like 7 different items in order to put the thing together? Where's that weapon series? The one where you could just work at it for several weeks and eventually get your weapon together.
Mm-hmm. I honestly liked those because it gave meaning to hunting specific weapons again.
An argument could be against that system is that the rarity could often mean you could never see the weapon you're hunting. But the counter argument to that is, what was it called? That system that they had in PSO2 where you could actually work out a file getting certain weapons?
Collection file?
The collection file is the counter argument to that. So really what they need is different weapons that actually have different uses that have strong in different ways. So that there's not just a single meta weapon, but different weapons that can provide different advantages in different situations. Instead, they keep offering just a single weapon that's just a higher potential, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah, we don't have like the unique weapons we did back in PSO where, like, if you wanted basically the best rifle in the game, you wouldn't go for the rifle that had the most attack power. You went for not the Snow Queen, but the thing before it, because the Snow Queen was just a single attack, while the other one you could at least do a 3 combo of extra attacks off of.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also have the problem with them constantly. Okay, so we already said the story's a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, by taking out the story, we have there's even less of a middle to this game than there already was. There's no real casual content for the casual player.
Yeah, at this point they should just take out levels and it all just gear score or whatever.
Yeah, because that's all they're really caring about. The heavy focus on endgame which, if you ever played the original PSO, that was never like the main focus.
Yep.
There was a lot of focus on endgame stuff, but you rarely did people ever hit like level cap.
It was always stepping stones on the way up. It was one of the nice things. You could actually be on a weaker weapon for a while, long enough that you actually wanted to upgrade that weapon. Now it's basically, do you really want to spend resources on upgrading a weapon or equipment that you know you're not going to stick around on for long enough?
And for most people, that's no. They don't want to. Like, for instance, on my PSO character, I still use like a very basic pistol, but that's because I just don't have anything better. But it's at least something I can use for a single target pistol.
Yeah, it's a real shame that Sega has gone so endgame focused when prior in the series it's been more about the journey rather than getting to endgame as fast as possible. I mean, it's even games like World of Warcraft. If you look way back to when that game first came out, it had no endgame. The game was the journey to 60. So it's such a shame that Sega has gone down this route when, getting to level 200, that would require something like at least a 300, 400 hour plus commitment to get to that in the original PSO2? Or, I'm sorry, PSO version 2?
I think felt like it was longer, but then again, I also was not optimal back then at leveling.
Yeah, it's such a stark difference, and frankly, at least PSU had a way to kind of deal with this in that it had 3 different ranks for each story quest. So depending upon your level, you would go to the most advanced rank that you could handle, basically.
Yeah, I mean, by making it so easy to level, they basically also removed the speed bumps in progression that slow players down enough to actually need to stay on certain equipment as well. So all this older equipment, it's junk. It's pointless, colorful trash that gets shoved on you, and you just have to delete it. And it's more of an insult to get it than to get the weapon you're looking for at this point.
Oh yeah, and also going back to like original PSO, some of the basic weapons that weren't even rares, they were still useful because of the special attributes that they would have on them.
Yep. High hit or high specific area damage, or however, or not area, but different enemy type damage. Yeah, that
Hell Vulcan. So like the Vulcan, which is the highest non-rare mech gun, if you got a Hell Vulcan with high hit, you were good. You didn't need any other mech gun after that.
Yep. Or if you were playing version 1 of PSO and you were a hunter, hey, you were rocking a spread needle.
Yeah, the story can be basically, with how they basically rush you through the levels with the NGS story, you basically are at in-game level by the time you reach chapter 6. And yeah, it's done in less than 30 minutes. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, we'll see how things end up with the story. I guess if there's even going to be any of the mini episodes or not. And then I've got my beef with the whole Manon situation. I'm hoping for once they actually just keep her out of things, because frankly, it's a little too early for her to be getting out of that hospital.
Quite frankly, my question is, are the trainees even going to acknowledge the guardian, the person that's being that's supposed to be held up as a symbol? Are you going to show up and are they going to say, "Oh, hey, it's this famous person," or is it going to be they're more starstruck by Aina or someone or others?
We'll see. At the very least, we know that we do have a scene that we talk to the two of them without Aina in that scene, or at least it seems that way right now. So, maybe they will be starstruck, maybe they won't be. We'll have to see.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think at this point we've got our thoughts on NGS, so let's move on to all the other stuff all the other updates that we got here.
Yeah, it's actually not that much this month. This was actually a really quiet month here. But
Very.
let's take a look at this one here first. The suspension of specific urgent quests in Kavaris. So no more Crocodilus Vera suppression operation, no more Alms Vera suppression operation. Those are done trigger quests only going forward. Along with that, actually they kind of redid this during this whole NGS headline, so I guess we can scratch this one then. Which brings us actually to pretty much at the end of New Genesis. Now we're looking at Clementine here, so Xantz, you're up here.
Very small amount of updates for New Genesis. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, let me get it up on my page as well. So we're talking about the latest update, update 70.
Yep.
Okay.
Update 70.
So Mag and Illuminous Illusion have been moved to the special counter on the 5th floor, and added the 3 missions to the Aurora Viewing Plaza: Fantastic Voyage, TA, Castle of Monsters, and Snowcap Screamer. The TA missions will exclude the bosses from the missions, and enemies cannot be encapped. Interesting. And players must be level 180 plus, and the max party size is 2. Updates to lobbies. Updated the resident security department to be less cluttered, and the NPC vendors are now accessible through the middle NPC. PA Trading Post. The PA Trading Post has been updated to include the following PAs: Duskad, Kokyo Ryuzan, Infinite Break, Jellin Hit, Foverse, Nosfioi, and Nosbarda. Duskad, that is a spear. That's a new spear skill, and Kokyo Ryuzan is probably the most well-known dagger travel PA. So it's like, I remember them mentioning how they weren't going to add it, but now it's added, so hey. Blank Disc are now obtainable through the PA Trading Post. The PA Trading Post can now be accessible through the Motub, Nuades, and Param Guardian branches. All of the PAs that only cost PA fragments now cost 60 PA fragments across the board. All the striking and ranged PAs that required a PA plus a blank disc now cost 1 blank disc plus 60 PA fragments. The boards to obtain these PAs plus blank disc have been removed from the department store. Players will now obtain them through the PA Trading Post now. Items. The boosters Candy Cane and Gingerbread Catcoin are no longer usable. And bugs fixes. Potentially fix an issue when Clem Camp stops showing up on the counter. Which, if you don't know, Clem Camp is a daily mission that you can do that gives a boosted EXP. Very nice to do. Hopefully fix some issues when the server crashes. Fix values on Buku Sainzan. Fix values on Splendor Crush. And fix the visual issue with Dark Bridge.
Yep. And then there was one more update here. Actually, this was kind of interesting. They started talking about update 71, but they also go into the roadmap for the first half of the year here. So go ahead, Xantz.
Yeah, and this is over on their forum page, by the way. Because if you don't remember, like, yeah, they have forum. Not many people use it, but it's there. Anyway, this is posted by Lost Bob, one of the moderators. Hello, it's been a hot minute since we've done one of these, taking a proper break and whatnot. During the downtime, we've been brainstorming for Ultimate. Here are current plans for the first half of the year. Disclaimer, during development, plans may change. Update 71 to Valentine's event. The event mission Protectors Z, or G, or however the hell you pronounce that, will be available during the 2-week event period. Clear the floors to gain more reward boxes per floor cleared. The floors can be cleared in any order. Complete the mission gimmicks to unlock the 7th floor and obtain the Valentine boxes. And a weapon rarity update, which is going to be very nice. The rarity of a lot of weapons will be adjusted to make it easier to tell what is better damage-wise. 13-star weapons will be 10% PA boosted, 14-star 20% PA boosted, and 15-star are / ultimate. Customized special weapons and the high-end synth weapons. Rods and slicers are 20%, 13% or 13-star, and 30% 14-star. Where we are at on Ultimate. Ultimate will be aimed to have its initial release sometime after the Valentine event. While I can't give a specific date as development may end up delayed due to whatever reasons, once the Valentine's event is out, I will spend my focus on getting the initial batch of missions ready for Ultimate, aiming to do 15 or 20 missions. Unfortunately, until Ultimate is ready, there won't be much new content until the event after the event for myself. I'll try to keep everyone up to date every week with where progress sits. Yeah, Ultimate mission design. Currently, I've been working on Plains Overlord, Castle Monsters, and Beach Bum Beast Ultimate. A main focus for the missions is to rehaul certain missions while keeping aspects that work to the current climate of Clementine's current balance. To save you all from the more boring details, we'll leave it at that. Ultimate difficulty will have one variant and some missions will have additional blocks. The ultimate difficulty will have an alpha version and a beta version. The alpha version is a 6-player version. Enemies will have specific attack type resist applied per block to make the party comp matter more. And the beta, which is the lower player version, enemies won't have the specific attack type resist and the spawns will be adjusted to be more doable for a lower amount of players. The resist for enemies will be viewable at the start of a mission from a terminal. So that's going to be interesting. So you're going to have to worry about what your gear setup is and what your party comp ends up being per each ultimate. I actually like that.
Yeah, I think one question though is are you going to get lower rewards if you don't come into the alpha version and you go into the beta version instead?
Good question. Ultimate gear progression. Currently we are planning to have ultimate weapons able to grind to 15-15. You won't be able to repair weapons past 10-10, so if a weapon is 12-12, that's where it's stuck at. Good. I honestly did not like the whole thing of being able to repair weapons back up to 10-10, because it made it to where, like, it's pretty much expected to have a 10-10 weapon now. But I do like how with the ultimate weapons, you can, if you fail to grind and it loses its max grind, you can't repair it. It makes it a better value of having a 15-15. So I like that.
Well, just going to ask, there isn't much PvP content in Universe, and on Clementine at least, right?
No.
So it doesn't matter that players are a little unbalanced in attack power and such.
All that matters is that if you want to do more damage. That's it. It's a personal thing.
Okay. No reason why NGS should not have the PvP content.
So, weapons will stay at the current grind above +10, so if you break a weapon going from 12-15 to 13-15, it'll become 12-14. Players will be able to obtain new grinders from Ultimate to grind past 10. You will still be able to use the +1 to +10 grinders, but the rate would be pretty low. Drop rates for the weapons will be considerably heavy with this system in mind. Yeah, a lot of players like to do time attacks, so if you have the stronger weapon, then you can do the time attacks a lot quicker. Drop rates, we'll be aiming to make the Valentine's event specific ultimate weapons X15 to give it a bit of a test run. The event won't be delayed for this feature, so if it's not ready by the time the event is around, it won't be in. Line shields with set bonuses with customized weapons and special weapons are currently planned. And units. Players will be able to upgrade certain units from materials from Ultimate between +1 to +5 at random. Ooh, interesting. More details will be provided later on this, and new units will also be available like Hands of Falls. And now they also give a very rough roadmap. Lastly, here's a rough roadmap of where my priorities are going to be for the last half of the year. Valentine's event, which is early February, Ultimate initial release, small Easter event at a March, crazy that Easter is March 31st this year, new Ultimate missions, new rare missions, I guess /R missions are the rare ones, then more new Ultimate missions, and late spring event, which is June. Some other stuff will sprinkled in along with these updates, but these are the main content updates currently planned. Very interesting. I'm glad that Clementine is starting to do a lot more custom stuff.
Yeah, frankly, I still wish that they would actually release episode 3 story, just given that there's no other way to play it at this point. But they've already made their case that they don't want to implement that for the reason of, they say they want to keep it free, just like the Japanese servers were towards the end. But at the same time, I mean, they brought Clem Camp in, which was not on the official servers. So I'm like, but it's still, that was accessible via Guardians Cache back in the day. So I mean, they've kind of already defeated their argument there. So what's the holdup, guys?
Maybe you could ask them to release a private server version that could be used to play episode 3 essentially offline.
Agrajag was working on that for many years, and as far as I'm aware, they have completely abandoned that project, unfortunately. I don't know if anybody is even looking at this point here.
At a PSO2 private server?
I'm talking about the episode 3.
Oh yeah,
Episode 3 for basically just have a offline version of the Clementine server that could be used for players to be able to play through the story missions.
Yeah, I guess anything's possible at some point here, but as of right now, it's literally lost media aside from the videos that exist on YouTube and elsewhere. Alright, so that's it for Clementine here. We got one more thing today. There is a patch available for GameCube players, and this is an item loss prevention patch. So basically, if you run this quest, it patches your game temporarily until you either reboot the console or you go into your settings for the provider. And it makes it so that if you happen to crash or anything else like that, you don't lose all of your unequipped items anymore.
That is super nice.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if they're doing this through what would it be called? I'm trying to remember the name of the kind of exploit. Arbitrary code execution. Do you think they're doing it through that?
I'm
through
not sure.
I don't know.
I think this is just a quest that modifies the memory of the console, but I mean it's possible that could be a part of it. Yeah. Ace has been used for a lot of interesting things in the past. I remember a year or two ago, Ace was used as part of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time when they did their Triforce percentage speed run, which basically re-implemented the Triforce into the game in real time. But yeah, in this one, yeah, it's just run the quest and you're patched for the rest of that session. And this was something that Sega had in their original design for the GameCube version, to have you lose those items as a way to prevent duping. And this kind of goes back to something that happened early on in the GameCube Episode 1 and 2 life, whereby the GameCube Episode 1 and 2 originally released as version 1.0, and that had whereby if you went into the local multiplayer mode with the split screen, it was possible to trade yourself items from one character to another, and then if you pulled the memory card before closing down, you'd be able to keep the items on both characters.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so,
how can you tell if what version of disc that you have here?
I believe it's in the code that's printed on the disc itself.
Like the 684-00020 thing? It's
See if I
right
can
above the
find it
Sonic
real
Team
quick
logo.
here.
Yeah, because I found my Japanese copy here, and I'm curious if it's the 1.0 or 1.1 version.
Yeah, and this does affect only the Japanese version.
Yeah, the English version is the patched version of that. Still not the patched shop glitch. That's plus.
Let's see. Unfortunately, this wasn't really well documented back in the day, so I'm not seeing anything immediately here on this. But basically,
But right
with-
above the Sonic Team logo, like, what is the code that is on there that you have?
I need to look. Give me a moment here. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Also, side note, it's a side tangent. Why is it that when it came to the Japanese GameCube games, it was like a clear plastic box that they had them in, and then it was like, instead of just a normal cover, it was a sleeve. So you had to like take the sleeve out of the game in order to get to the casing, and then get to the disc. It's weird. The game, like the way that the Japanese GameCube games are, is weird. And that cardboard sleeve can easily get damaged. There's a little side tangent on that.
Okay, so looking here, it's what my disc says is underneath where it says Nintendo GameCube, it says DLDOL GPOJ JPN.
Mm-hmm. And what about above Sonic Team? I'm curious if that's the same or not.
Give me a moment. I gotta magnify this a bit to see it.
I can also see if I can look this up.
I'm sorry, 6840002D is what I've got there.
E, okay, I have 0.
Or maybe that is a 0.
And then we might have the same versions then. Interesting.
Well, my understanding is the way that this was originally distributed with version 1.1 was it was basically a writing campaign where you had to basically send your 1.0 disc in, and they would then send you back a 1.1 disc. And the issue...
it should actually be on the underside of the disc that actually has it. It's very small print. So I have... Yeah, so I actually have 002. Interesting. So I do not have a 1.0 disc.
They may have swapped them out at all the retailers after the initial launch of the game.
More than likely, yeah.
And that this being not plus, this is 1.1. But basically, Sega was so concerned about this situation, they separated the Japanese 1.0 from the 1.1 and plus players. So basically, 1.0 players had game servers, and those servers only lasted for, I want to say, about a year or two before they were shut down. The 1.1 and plus servers lasted a whole lot longer, but it never affected me because by then the Western release had come out, and as we all know, the Japanese version of episode 1 and 2, yeah, that did not come with English on it.
Nope.
Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it's episode 3 I'm thinking about. One of them didn't come with English in it.
I know that whenever I pop my Japanese copy into my Japanese GameCube that I got recently, there's no English in this, so.
Okay, so maybe that is the case. Maybe it was both of them that didn't have Japanese then. All right. So that's pretty much it for the news for the last month, unless either of you have anything you want to bring up as well.
I got nothing else. What do you got, Rooks?
So I just quickly checked the likes ratio, the number of likes on this headline versus the previous one. The previous one only went up to about 800, well, close to 900. This one is currently at 300.
Oof.
For likes or dislikes?
Likes.
Likes. You can't really see dislikes right now.
Yeah, the server for the dislikes thing is down right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's a low number. I mean, that's less than half, and the question becomes: is that because players are unsatisfied, or is it because players have left the game? Probably both.
Either one's really bad at this point.
Yeah.
If they left the game, you're looking at such. Every time a player takes a vacation from NGS, there's a chance they will never come back. And this is something that Sega kind of needs to realize, that they really need to have stuff that's actually worth keeping players around. And even these limited time quests that are supposed to create FOMO, they're trash. They are trash rehashes.
Yeah, I get bored after 5 runs of any new one that comes out, just because there's absolutely no variance in them whatsoever.
You basically fought all the bosses and everything already before. You faced them all before. Even these gigantic version of these bosses, there's nothing really special. If you learned the attack pattern before, they're not going to be any threat to you now.
Yep. Even the anniversary versions, I mean, it's only one boss where they change the attack pattern, basically, and it's the end boss. It's just not a good situation if you hold those kind of bosses in reserve. I mean, yeah, it does give you a different attack pattern, but I mean, for the most part, they're still just clones of other versions of that boss. I mean, it's the same RPG stuff we've seen as a trope throughout many RPGs in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where are the new and unique bosses? And, you know, doing one every 3 months at this point, that's not fun. That's just telling players, okay, come back, fight it once, and then, okay, see you in 3 more months.
Or come back only once a year and see what little content has been added.
Yep.
I mean, that's not a good look for any player who just vacated the game and waited, and then suddenly realized they came back and realized there isn't even a new region out now. And what we're seeing coming up here is dry beyond belief. Until June this year, we're not going to have much at all that's worth showing off to other players.
Yep.
I don't know how much of this can be blamed on the devs and how much this can be blamed on the upper management, simply because they don't want to spend the money on this game and they just want to milk it. But this was Sega's main cash cow. At this point, if they don't realize the game needs urgent care, I think we might as well, it may not even make it to the new region release.
And I don't want it to see that happening, because it took so long for PSO2 to finally see a Western release, and when they realized, oh, the US side was making more money than the Japanese side, they kind of squandered it with NGS horribly.
Yep. The server capacity did not help whatsoever on that one. That's for certain. And the thing is, that's the same mistake Sega keeps making over and over and over. We saw that with the launch of Blue Burst. We saw it with the launch of with Phantasy Star Universe, where that one was the worst one, whereby they had so many players wanting to play the game that they had to take the servers down for a week in order to put more servers up. That's the reason we have World 1 and 2 when you log in.
Mm-hmm.
And then with PSO2, once again, they underestimated the player base, except in that particular case, it was a combination of that plus players wanting to sit down in chairs, and that sitting down in those chairs is what was causing the database to get screwed up.
Which is hilarious. I still remember the launch of the beta and how it just could not play the game for 4 hours.
Yeah. And when I say this, I'm talking about Japanese launches. I'm not talking about Western launches.
Oh yeah, like in the Japanese launch, the photon chairs just caused so much issues. It was hilarious.
Yep. But yeah, the game is in a really bad state right now. It's getting worse and worse, and at the rate that they're going, I'm afraid Sega's going to end up losing the series.
I really hope that it doesn't come to that.
I half wonder if Sega's going to collapse itself with how things are going. They've got all these extra projects going on, but they aren't managing what they have already well.
Yeah. And what's with the announcement of all these other games that they did at the Game Awards? The announcement of what? Crazy Taxi, Shinobi, few other things. Where was Phantasy Star? The classic Phantasy Star series, Algol in that mix.
I would love to see classic Phantasy Star make a comeback. At least like a remaster of Phantasy Star End of Millennium would go wild, honestly.
Yeah. We were supposed to get that. We were supposed to get that on the PlayStation 2, and because the Aegis 2500 series collapsed, we lost it. Instead, we just got a collection of Phantasy Star games at the end, which, you know, thankfully, that one at least did do something good for Phantasy Star 2, which was implement the faster walking, the easier experience in Metagame, as well as fixing the flashing that was in that game, so that's actually a safer version than the version that originally came out on the Mega Drive Genesis.
And also, speaking of the original Phantasy Star 2, I still have that damage sound just in my mind.
Yep.
It's such an iconic sound effect, but it's so, like, jarring.
Yep. And then pausing the game, advancing it a few frames, and then unpausing just so that you could keep the same music while you were in battle instead of hearing the battle music. Yeah. Those were fun times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now the series is not in a good state. Sega needs to really consider its options at this point, whether that be they throw a lot more money at New Genesis and bulk up the staff that's there. They look to other games in the series. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pull something up here real quick. I'm gonna pull something up because and this was just a thought experiment that somebody threw up on Reddit, and I said, okay, let me take this on. And you know, again, I'm gonna put the legal up here that this is not a let me find it here first. This is not intended to actually be a purchase offer between myself and Sega Sammy, but basically somebody had a let me get this up here. somebody basically said, hypothetically, if money, time, staff, and servers were not an issue, and everything was provided for you, what would you do? And so I basically started saying, hey, I don't have an MBA or anything like that, so I don't have the acumen for keeping a business running. And again, legal, this is not an actual purchase deal, but this is basically what I came up with here. So, step one, to free the series from the restrictions put on it by being a publicly traded company, I would purchase the Phantasy Star IP from Sega Sammy, along with staff, server, structure, and everything else associated, including the supplemental materials, including the albums, manga, guidebooks, etc. Any staff allowed to join that was working from before NGS launch would receive a 30% pay increase, while those that started after would receive a 12% pay increase. This being intended to reduce turnover during the transition and to assist with any familial needs, as a new Series HQ would need to be built up and might not be local to Sapporo, and, that would have to be considered even after they just did that move. And then, of course, part of the deal would be anybody that doesn't come along would at least be placed elsewhere within Sega Sammy, because I wouldn't want to see people losing their jobs over such a thing. Step 2 would expand the staff to actually 6 times its current size, and I'd create 4 teams out of that. There'd be the NGS team, which would expand to 2.5 to 3 times its current size. The direction the game is taking may or may not be changed, but additional staff would at least help produce more content at a more regular rate. Depending upon the internal state of development, a determination would be made within 12 months if the game was to continue or to be brought to a close. And because this deals with a lot of non-disclosure agreement level stuff, I'm leaving that as an open point in this thought experiment. Team number 2 would be the PSO2 maintenance team, bringing new content to the classic PSO2 game, which may or may not be lore relevant, but at least it would give people something new to do. This team would also be activated for the potential next Phantasy Star Online RPG, depending upon the state of New Genesis. Team 3, a remake team dedicated to bringing up old games, including new official servers, as well as localizing old supplemental materials such as Phantasy Star Outside Saga. And then, where possible, the existing fan server developers would be contacted to see who would want to be hired under the newly formed company. And then Team 4, that would be an exploratory content team dedicated to new concepts and expanding existing lore in the series. One such project would be a collaboration with Creative Assembly to produce Total War Phantasy Star, telling the tale of Weiss, the one that unified the planet Palma and Algol. And then step 4 of all this would be to bring more merch to the West, and while money doesn't matter in this thought scenario, a company does need to be able to pay its staff, and profits are necessary for any company to survive. That said, Team 3 creations would be premium locked to return the games to a subscription model instead of this free-to-play thing that we've got currently. New Genesis free-to-play would remain in place initially, or possibly permanently, depending on the state of things, while PSO2 would become premium locked, but free-to-play content removed and replaced with daily ACSG allowances as part of premium initially until a better solution could be found. And that would at least set things up for the first 5 to 10 years of how things would go. So I'm curious what you two kind of think of that. I know that
I like what the first comment reply was. Put your name in the ballot box and I'll vote for you.
Yeah, that was kind of funny there. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it would work. It's just getting the capital. I mean, half of NGS's problems right now is Sega needing to have faith in the system, faith in the franchise and in the idea, and not try basically to the need to abandon its greedy corporate behavior and go back into making sure the game is actually quality enough to actually draw players back.
Yeah.
Happy fans will spend money. Unhappy fans will start trying to resist spending money.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if things were not as bad as they were right now, I probably wouldn't have taken this as seriously as I had. But yeah, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything here. This is kind of where I am at this point. I'm like, I want to try to rescue this, but the problem is, in order to actually make something like this work, I think I would need like $1 billion to even consider it. And I think that right there goes to show I don't know how much money it actually takes to run a company like this. But yeah. That was just a fun thought experiment that came up. And I guess I just wanted to bring it up since we were kind of in that talking mood this this episode here with the stream. Yeah, does anybody else have anything else?
Not really.
I don't have anything.
All right. Well, then, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Rooks, Xance, and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Yane.
Goodbye.